रेडियो नशा प्रेजेंट्स यारों दोस्ती और केके, a tribute to KK.
I was his music teacher for a short time, actually. Not too many people know that. Every time I met him, he is only positive, absolutely positive, always smiling, big hugs and things like that.
ना शेखर ने ना मैंने ना केके ने कभी सोचा कि हम रेट्रो स्टेशन का भाग होंगे. हम तो ऐसे ही मजा कर रहे थे, अब भी ऐसे ही मजा करते हैं. And honestly, I don't know how to. I mean, it's ridiculous that we're paying tribute to a guy.
He would always play for colleges and all these people who couldn't afford big artists, they can't afford, but he used to always make sure that he performed because that was his audience. I think we now should not mourn his death, but celebrate his music and his life.
Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
It's a hard one today because मैं जानती हूँ कि we're going to talk about KK. Now, KK does not belong to that era of musicians who we listened to when we were growing up. मतलब मैं school में थी when Pal.
But I mean, for you maybe, but India में जितने rock and roller हैं, उनके लिए KK was a presence much before he became KK, जो कि Bollywood में गाते हैं. या जिनका मतलब जो पल का एल्बम जब आया था, he was KK from King's Slot. दिल्ली में एक बैंड थी जो कि बहुत ही मतलब रॉक सीन पे पूरी तरह से छाई हुई थी. They were influential on परिक्रमा. We used to hear about them, and we used to hear about this guy called KK who was like this legend, कि मतलब जब गाता था तो समय रुक जाता था ऐसा है. And he used to do stuff that जो कि उसकी हिंदी फिल्म रेपर्टुआर से या उसके पॉप रेपर्टुआर से बहुत ही अलग था, but just as effective.
And that's probably where your connection with KK started because you were in the same scene. आप भी उस दौर में म्यूजिक बना रहे थे, and he was also on stage. He was rocking the stages. Did you ever get to see him or get to know him during that phase?
मेरी मुलाकात KK से पहली दफा स्टूडियो में हुई, फराद वाडिया की स्टूडियो में. And I remember मतलब हम उस वक्त शेखर और मैं प्यार में कभी कभी पे काम कर रहे थे अलग अलग. तो मैंने केके को एक गाना गाने बुलाया था और he was so happy कि मतलब अच्छा तू भी रॉक एंड रोलर है, मैं भी रॉक एंड रोलर हूँ, अच्छा है, like let's do this, मतलब and the thing is he was always someone who was very very positive and very inspiring. मतलब हमेशा उनके चेहरे पे हमेशा मुस्कान रहती थी और हमेशा मतलब अगर कोई नया म्यूजिशियन हो या कोई नया कंपोजर या सिंगर या कुछ भी हो, तो KK was always the guy who gave you the ability to dream. मतलब हाँ, तुम जो सपना देख रहे हो ना वो सच हो सकता है, कर लो मजा आएगा.
I was just looking at the soundtrack listing and there were songs like लाखों दीवाने और कोई तो मुझे बता दे, and that was प्यार में कभी कभी. I remember this soundtrack so well because उस दौर में, this was in 1999, right? हमें याद है because indie pop वाले बहुत cool लड़के थे. There was Shan, there was KK, there was Sagarika, there was Shweta Shetty, and that was a whole phase that we looked at artists differently as a generation. I was in school, मुझे याद है, and यारो दोस्ती पल आपकी दुआ happened. Do you remember that album? वो album का कोई impact था at that time?
उस वक्त मैं ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व नहीं था हिंदी फिल्मों की म्यूजिक में, और पेंटाग्राम मेरी रॉक बैंड जो है वो नई मतलब वी वर डूइंग आवर थिंग. उसी वक्त चीजें हो रही थी. हमारी पहली एल्बम 96 में आई थी. हम टूर कर रहे थे, हम बहुत सारे शोज कर रहे थे, हम अपने धुन में काफी मस्त थे उस वक्त. तो दूर से कहीं से सुना था कि मतलब ये एल्बम आया है, ये म्यूजिक है. उसकी जो इफेक्ट है वो कई सालों बाद समझ में आई कि मतलब जब मैंने एक्चुअली केके को एट सम पॉइंट फराद वाडिया जो कि इंडिपेंडेंस रॉक नाम का एक फेस्टिवल चलाते थे, उन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि एक दिन होगा डेडिकेटेड टू हिंदी पॉप रॉक व्हाटएवर. तो उस दिन का हेडलाइनर केके था और तब मैंने उस गाने को स्टेज पे सुना था. और आई रिमेम्बर हिम बीइंग मतलब उतने कन्विक्शन से मैंने किसी को हिंदी पॉप रॉक स्टेज पे पेश करता हुआ नहीं देखा था. मैंने किसी को खुद की म्यूजिक में इतना बिलीव करते हुए और उसको इतनी खुशी के साथ और सच्चाई के साथ पेश करता हुआ नहीं देखा था. एंड आई थिंक दैट वाज व्हाट डिफाइंड केके and define KK's impact on the scene. मतलब I think उसको देख के बहुत सारे लोगों ने अपने म्यूजिक में एक फेथ पाया, एक भरोसा पाया कि हम भी कर सकते हैं ये.
One of my favorite songs from that time, you know, which is almost 2000s, Tu Aashiki Hai. It's one of my favorite songs even today, you know. So, so that song, do you want to talk about that time? Do you remember that song? And KK, the voice of it?
Some songs you don't forget. It's like yesterday. It feels like yesterday. मतलब जिनका बीच में ये सिर्फ ये गाना भी नहीं है. KK had sung another song called जब कभी as well. और जिन्होंने नहीं सुना है, I recommend you go and hear it. वहाँ पे पता चलेगा आपको कि रेंज, कंट्रोल, विब्राटो, थ्रो, एक रॉक एंड रोलर होता क्या चीज है. उस गाने में आपको पता चलेगा. बट इन दिस वन यू हियर KK सोल, आई थिंक. इस गाने में एक बहुत मतलब ये गाना बना ही ऐसे है. शेखर ने वो मतलब हम ऐसे ही जैम कर रहे थे, गाना बना, सुजॉय को सुनाया, उसको अच्छा लगा. And we decided we're going to record this. और फिर उसके बाद जो भी उस गाने के साथ जुड़ते गए, चाहे वो अभिजीत नलानी एंड सम्राट भारद्वाज जो कि जिन्होंने म्यूजिक प्रोड्यूस किया, या तो क्लिंटन यू नो हु प्रोड्यूस्ड द वोकल्स ऑन इट, या कल्याण बारुआ जिन्होंने जो अब यू नो लास्ट दिन तक KK के साथ में थे. दे वर प्लेइंग ऑन स्टेज टुगेदर. ही वाज पार्ट ऑफ हिज बैंड, बट कल्याण वाज पार्ट ऑफ दैट सॉन्ग. उस वक्त वो KK के बैंड का हिस्सा नहीं थे. जस्ट कोइंसिडेंटली कल्याण वाज पार्ट ऑफ दैट सॉन्ग एज वेल. और मतलब the thing is उस गाने नॉर्मली एक कंपोजर को लोगों को बताना पड़ता है कि I want this, मुझे इस गाने में you know इस तरह का एक्सप्रेशन चाहिए, आप ये ट्राई कीजिए, आप you sing a part and you say you try this or whatever, you know. उस गाने में things just happened, like everyone the moment they showed up they were in the song, you know. और anyway शेखर and I by then we had realized कि एक अगर आदमी है जिसकी आवाज में सच्चाई है, जो बिना किसी प्रिटेंस के, बिना किसी मतलब ना वो he doesn't try to sing like anyone else, he doesn't try to you know मतलब वो ओवर ड्रामेटाइज नहीं करता है वर्ड्स को, और एक बहुत सिंपल सरल तरीके से, मगर फिर भी you feel every single thing he's saying, you know. This is something we had realized by then, and we asked him to come in and sing it, and he did. It's just that simple.
Yeah, you make it sound so simple, but my God, that song, I mean, I'm so grateful that I'm on a retro radio station. I still play that song.
हमने ना शेखर ने, ना मैंने, ना KK ने कभी सोचा कि हम रेट्रो स्टेशन का भाग होंगे. हम तो ऐसे ही मजा कर रहे थे, अब भी ऐसे ही मजा करते हैं. And you know, honestly,
It is hard today. It is extremely hard.
I mean, I don't know how to, I mean, it's ridiculous that we're paying tribute to a guy.
I remember I've had the good fortune, Vishal, to interview you down the years for some of your most fun soundtracks, you know. और मुझे आज भी याद है, मैं उस दौर में ओम शांति ओम के लिए आई थी तुम्हारे पास. And you were so excited. You and Shekhar came to my studio. You all played the soundtrack, each and every song. And I remember us, you know, just stopping and listening to Ajabsi, and I remember playing Ajabsi for the very first time on radio. My God, you know, ये जो line है, दिल को बना दे जो पतंग, I still remember you said to me, you can see the patang in his voice, because उनकी आवाज भी ऐसे उड़ती है. And every time I played that song on the radio, whenever that patang line comes, I'm just like, I look up, you know, because that is who he was. You have to talk to me about Ajabsi.
This is the first time I'm talking about him since he's been gone, and I mean, it's just, I mean, for every song I'll end up saying the same thing. The nicest guy in the world, and that was part of his voice. You could hear him in his voice. You could hear his persona, his being in his voice. So whenever Shekhar and I wanted a song to feel honest, like truly honest, the person who's singing is not trying to say anything, he's just expressing his heart, that's when we would call KK. We never called KK for songs that we felt anyone else could sing. We called KK when we felt that no one else could sing that song, you know. And he was that guy for us. He was always that guy.
खुदा जाने song that I love.
It's a song that we knew from the moment we composed that high note in the chorus, we knew कि ये KK ही गाएगा. It was that. There was never, with KK, it was never, again, I'll say this again. The song always said that I belong to KK's voice and KK's voice belongs to me. Like the song always told us. इस गाने में phone उठाओ, phone करो, बुलाओ. You know?
Yeah.
And that was it. And with many singers, you know, sometimes you call them in and it doesn't feel, maybe it wasn't the perfect choice, but KK ke saath kabhi nahi hua. He was always perfect for every song. I mean, there are songs that you may not have heard that we did with him that I remember very fondly, that Shekhar remember. There's a song from a film called Home Delivery. गाने का नाम है चांद की रोशनी. I would request everyone to hear it. Just hear his voice. Just hear how beautifully. Hear the title track of Kahani. How beautifully he sang it. Just simple beauty, simple truth in his voice. It's just magic. Just absolute magic.
The other thing that I have noticed is that जिनसे भी बात की मैंने, उन्होंने सिर्फ यही एक चीज कही मुझसे, और वो थी ये कि वो आते थे, वो रिकॉर्ड करते थे और वो भाग जाते थे, क्योंकि उन्हें सिर्फ घर जाना था, उन्हें सिर्फ अपने बच्चों के साथ टाइम बिताना था, कोई पार्टी में नहीं आता था, कुछ नहीं करता था केके.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from him about how to live. एक बार हम कोई फिल्म कर रहे थे, मुझे याद नहीं कौन सी थी, लेकिन कोई बड़ी वाली फिल्म थी. और मैंने केके को फोन किया और फोन नहीं लग रहा. एंड हम कभी मतलब मैनेजर्स के थ्रू बात नहीं करते थे. We were always on the phone with each other. और शेखर ट्राई कर रहा है, मैं ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, 1-2 दिन हो गए, फोन ही नहीं लग रहा. तो फाइनली we called his manager and we said, where's KK? And he said, oh, he's on holiday with his family. So we said, okay, can you ask him to call us? जब टाइम मिले या जब नेटवर्क मिले या जो भी, मुझे फोन कर ले. तो 2-3 दिन बाद उसका फोन आया. तो मैंने बोला, man, we need you to come in and sing this song. And you know how it is, man. We want you. That's how it is, right? So he said, yeah, buddy, cool. I'll be there. I'll be back on the, मतलब कुछ 1-1.5 महीने बाद. So I said, listen, सब लोग हमारे सर पे तांडव कर रहे हैं. तू एक काम कर, just get on a plane na, for a day. Just come, record the song and go back. We'll organize everything. He said, no, I'll be back on that day only. So it's cool. We'll work on the next one. No stress. And it wasn't like an ego thing or anything, but ये time मेरे family का है, तो है, बस. So I learned a lot from that, and that's something I try and do as well. I just think, I mean, he was very clear about the fact that your work doesn't define you. The love that you have in your life defines you as a person, and that's something that you need to treasure more than anything else. And it's, like I said, it's something that it's a huge lesson for you. In this world, in music basically, people chase their dreams और बहुत मतलब जोश से chase करते हैं dreams को, and अक्सर क्या होता है कि dream मिलने के बाद अगला dream, फिर उसके बाद अगला dream, फिर अगला dream, and you keep chasing for the rest of your life. बहुत ऐसे कम इतने evolved लोग होते हैं जो समझ सकते हैं कि मेरे पास जो है वो बहुत है, और जो लोग हैं मेरे साथ, those are the important things. इनके साथ में थोड़ा वक्त बिताना है, इनके I need to live my life, and that's something that he really very beautifully illustrated. KK used to send me his daughter's work. I don't know if she knows or not, but ऐसे ही भेजता था. ऐसे नहीं कि मतलब उसको, because she makes like electro, very trippy electro music. मतलब वो Bollywood music नहीं बनाती, बहुत मतलब she's got her own vibe, which is great. और तो मेरे को भेजता था because he knows I'm into that stuff, right? So we used to talk about it, and it's such a sense of pride and such a sense of warmth. He's like, check it out, man, check it out, and that would be, I'm sure, a force behind his kids, like just having that energy, that positivity, that कि मतलब तुमको जो करना है तुम करो, मैं तुम्हारे साथ में हूँ. I'm always there for you. That's what my father was to me, and I can feel that KK was probably that to his kids, and to lose someone like that is to lose the ground that you stand on, you know.
What is your all-time favorite KK song? Maybe not a song that you did together, लेकिन उनकी आवाज में गाना. And if it's possible, would you sing some of his lines for me today?
I honestly can't tell you which one of his songs is my favorite because मैं अभी तक समझ ही नहीं पाया हूँ कि वो नहीं है. तो मैंने ये लिस्ट बनाया नहीं है. मैंने ये जो बनाते हैं ना लोग, ये पोस्ट मतलब किसी के खो जाने के बाद सोचते हैं कि वो क्या कर गया था जो. It's okay, he left joy in the world.
He did. Of course he did. And I'm so grateful that you have shared a little bit, you know, of your life with KK with us. Because honestly, jitne bhi, you know, unke fans hain, I don't think they're able to deal, okay? And this is my way of coping. My way of coping is this.
Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
एक आर्टिस्ट चला जाता है लेकिन the art never leaves us, you know.
Absolutely.
First thoughts on that, sir.
जब भी मैं केके का गाना सुनता हूँ मुझे उसकी ही याद आती है क्योंकि हमारे इतने एक्सपीरियंसेस हुए साथ में. मैं जब भी कितने साल पहले मुझे याद भी नहीं, 1990 कुछ में मैं एक जिंगल कर रहा था और जब भी मैं लॉय से पूछा कि मुझे एक सिंगर की जरूरत है जो एक रॉक सिंगर हो, मतलब इंग्लिश जिंगल था, तो वो बोला आप कभी केके के साथ काम नहीं कर रहे? I said no because he said I used to, वो जब भी लॉय दिल्ली में था, he used to teach in a school and KK was a student there and KK so he knew KK from there, you know.
Oh, okay.
So he said just call and वो एक मेरे ख्याल से वो the commercial was for Titan Quartz, remember Titan, and एक रॉक जिंगल था. वाकई इतना अच्छा गाया तो हम लोग सोचे कि यार this guy is a really good singer. फिर उसके बाद जब भी हम लोग अगले बार काम करें वो wasn't दिल चाहता है तो कोई कहे. He came and sang that, you know, as one of the voices. फिर ऐसे तो काम तो होते रहा. There's so much other work we did together, you know. ये क्या हो रहा है? Karthik calling Karthik, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that we've done together.
Loy sir, Shankar sir, three of you have worked with so many other artists and singers, sir. कितने सारे,
Yes.
you know, लोगों के साथ आपने काम किया है. But what I would want to
Yes.
know from you is कि एक क्या ऐसी चीज थी जो केके को थोड़ा सा, you know, यूनिक बनाती थी या फिर केके को केके बनाती थी?
कुछ सिंगर्स ऐसे हैं जिसके वॉइस में एक स्माइल रहता है, you know. There's a certain मुस्कुराहट in the voice, you know. And KK was one of those people you always felt very happy. Even now, when I hear a sad song of KK's, I feel happy. You know, he's got that kind of voice. And actually, जो personality था, आप शायद उन्हें नहीं जानते थे क्योंकि हम इतने time spend करे साथ में. You know, where he'd walk into the room and he'd always, you know, hug each one of you and very encouraging and very, very cooperative. You know, no attitude. कि ऐसा नहीं कि मैं एक बड़ा star हूँ, जो वो था, बड़ा star था वो. You know, and जो shows भी करे, he would always play for colleges and all these people who couldn't afford big artists, you know. You know, they can't afford, but he used to always make sure that he performed because that was his audience. So he appealed to that age all the time. In fact, his last show was also for college, you know, when he got the attack, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the kind of person that he was. He was a very, very sweet person. I mean, I think about KK, I don't think about his songs, you know, because I just think about him.
Wow.
You know, when I heard he died, I said that was a devastating thing. That is such a nice guy, you know. The world needs people like him. And, you know, he passed away.
I remember, sir, when KK had just left us, मैंने तब भी आपसे बात की थी. And there was this very beautiful thing that you said कि Pareee, more than, you know, him being a great singer, he was a beautiful person.
Yes.
Yeah, was that? And I'm sure you have a lot of experiences to restate.
तो मेरे ख्याल से कि eventually कि उन लोग वही सोचेंगे कि आप कैसे human being think. That's the stamp that you leave behind on people. मतलब music तो रहेगा ही. That'll be immortalized on, you know, on social media, on whatever you want. But the personality is what stays, you know, and if that's heartwarming, people will always say KK was a nice guy. And I think that is a really befitting farewell to the man and a befitting, you know, swan song to the person and a, you know, elegy to the person that he's such a good, lovely person. And that's what I said, कि अगर वो studio में आता था, मतलब कि ऐसे कि एक रोशनी रोशनी आ जाती थी स्टूडियो में कि आके वो सबको हग करेगा, हाउ आर यू, ए ब्रो, हाउ यू डूइंग। एंड कभी कभी वो मुझे फोन करता था क्योंकि वो गिटार बजाने लगा था, वो तो गिटार बजाता ही था, मगर हम लोग बात करते थे गिटार के बारे में, एंड वो मतलब कि इतना ज्यादा जब भी घर पे रहते थे इतने म्यूजिक डायरेक्टर्स के बारे में बात नहीं करते थे क्योंकि वो काम घर पे नहीं लाते थे। मगर उसका बेटा नकुल मुझे बोल रहा था कि वो सिर्फ तुम्हारे बारे में बात करते थे क्योंकि वो गिटार के बारे में बात करते थे कि वी टॉक्ड अबाउट दिस गिटार्स, वी टॉक्ड अबाउट दैट गिटार। आई एम गेटिंग गूज़बम्प्स व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू, बट those were the, we had a lovely relationship, and it was not that we were in touch so much that I had no idea कि वो क्या कर रहा था ये, मगर जब भी हम लोग मिलते थे there was a connection, and that was very very strong.
You mentioned a lot of his songs, sir. ऐसा कोई गाना है जो आपका favorite song है of KK? Like when you think of KK, which song comes to your mind?
Of his own songs, I would say that I like Yaro very much. I thought that's a really lovely song, and the song that he sung for us, I like, there's a song which he sang for a film which never did well at all called Ye Kya Ho Raha Hai, and the song was called Ooh Yeah, and he sang in that so beautifully, him and Malakshmi Iyer. You must hear that song, it is really really a beautiful song, and like sung beautifully, so yeah. But there's a lot of his stuff, whatever he sings, Pal, all that stuff is great.
Absolutely. And the
Das
best
Bahane
part,
Karke.
of course, sir, of course. And songs like Yaaron, Pal, like personally, I have grown up with these songs. So as I said, when
I can't even remember which songs he sung. He sung so many songs for us, but like offhand, I can't remember. He sang Jhoom Barabar Jhoom. He sang Dawn. He sang one of the versions of Jhoom Barabar Jhoom, which comes at the end of the film. Then he sang
It's
the
the time
title
to
track.
disco with Hana, sir. It's the time to disco with.
Yes, of course, he sang that. Yeah. In fact, हम लोग देख रहे थे कि जब भी उनका देहांत हो गया कि वो अपने जो सेट लिस्ट था that was left on the stage, where he left from, उसमें आखिरी 2-3 गाने तो हमारे ही गाने थे, कोई कहे, Dawn, and It's the Time to Disco,
But as I was saying, sir, I think we are lucky that we will always have KK around us, with us. जब तक music, Hindi music, Bollywood music रहेगा, तब तक KK.
और ये भी बात बहुत is very very happy. I'm very happy to say that I've been hearing his son and his daughter singing, and they're also very talented. I hope they take the light forward, and of course, they'll only shine his name. He was that kind of person. To think about KK is to have a nice feeling. I think we now should not mourn his death, but celebrate his music and his life.
Absolutely, and that's the whole idea of me also talking to you, sir, because I know there are people who will be able to talk about KK with the same honesty and genuineness that he had in his heart.
Radio Nasha presents Yaaron Dosti और KK, a tribute to KK.
Every year 23rd August को celebrate किया जाता है as KK's birthday. This year it's special because KK is not with us, and yet I feel he's still with us, because of the legacy that he's left behind with his art, with his music. तो first thoughts, Loy sir, आपके, because I know that आपने भी काफी closely काम किया है with KK.
मतलब there's duality to this whole thing, because one एक तरफ से it's it would have been great had he been around. Firstly because he is such a wonderful singer and a wonderful person. I remember when I was teaching him, I was his music teacher for a short time, actually. Not too many people know that. So, yeah. But so when I first, but he had a lot of talent, and I remember I would do a couple, when I was in Delhi, I did a couple of jingles with him, and he was very positive as a person. And when I moved back to Mumbai, एक बार KK ने मुझे फोन किया था, तो मेरे से he asked me, sir, I want to come down to Mumbai, and what do you think? So I said, it's really up to you. आपके हाथ में जो as much talent and as much effort you put in, there's no guarantees, but all I know that you got to make the effort, and if it pays off, it'll be great. and he didn't make that move, you know, and he did it on his own. I did it absolutely on his own, you know, and we miss him because he's truly a beautiful voice, because it resonated with so many thousands and thousands of people. You know, he's like a classic voice. You know, there's a lot of love and a lot of friendliness in his voice. You know, and he was that kind of a person. You know, never, you know, every time I met him, he is only positive, absolutely positive, always smiling. You know, big hugs and things like that.
कोई specific incident, sir, आपको याद है, या कोई specific गाने की recording याद है? Because you have, you, Shankar sir, you know, Ehsaan sir, you three worked with him. He sung songs for you.
KK is a very simple guy. He'll come in with no attitude. You know, he'll listen to the song. You know, he listen to Shankar jab guide. You know, Shankar would put on the guide track. Sun ke aap thoda, you know, he'd listen, and then he'll go behind the mic and do his take. And whatever corrections and changes that you want, he was like absolutely in the flow. No fight. There was no fight, no resistance, no ego at all. He just left his ego outside the door if ever he had one, you know. And that's the beauty. I mean, you can see that. You can see that how much he's loved. You know, the response and the sorrow of his loss. You know, you can gauge that very strongly.
Correct. But talking about how talented KK was, sir, and you know, because you have seen his journey, आपने तो बहुत closely उनकी journey देखी है. What was that one thing according to you that really made KK? Because his voice, just like how you said, it resonates with so many.
It's he had the bow and he had the arrow, hit you straight in the heart. He was gifted, blessed. You know, he had touched from the hand from above. There's a deep spiritual blessing that he had. I mean, you know, so.
Radio Nasha.